Good
Um,
morning and
today,
welcome to the most recent in our series of mini sessions. This one is going to be SmartConnect and Integration Manager, and these are integration tools that Carly Cantrell, one of our team members, is going to walk us through. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have questions, please hold them until the end. We're going to open up the Q&A. And you'll be able to ask those questions at that time. In the meantime, if you have an immediate need, you can always send us a chat in the chat function. So take it away, Carly.
okay. All right, so like Alice said, today I'm going to be talking about Integration Manager and SmartConnect. I'm going to start with the Integration Manager, which is the most common tool for people who have bought GP before the last, I guess, 3 years. It used to come with GP, now it's part of the customization pack. So the majority of our existing customers have Integration Manager. Integration Manager is a tool that Microsoft purchased right whenever they started using GP. So it's an older tool. It really doesn't have much updates, but for basic needs, it meets them. It can be accessed within GP using the Integration Manager go-to, or you can just open the program within your all programs, if it's installed, of course. So Integration Manager is a tool available to help import data into GP. Imports can be created easily using tab or comma delimited files, or if you're looking to get more advanced, you can have more advanced data sources, which I'm not going to get into today. We're just doing a high-level introductory into this tool. And like I said, this tool does come with the customization pack. So if you own customization pack for GP, you own Integration Manager. So this is what a specific integration looks like within GP. I'm just doing a basic GL transaction integration. You can map your sources, which I've said is either a text or a comma delimited file. I'm using a text file right now. You map columns. You can do sorting and filtering on the data. You have to create relationships if you have more than one data source. And there's a few destinations that come out of the box. And I don't want to change that, but there's a lot of predefined destinations that come within Integration Manager for your basic screens. The most common AP, AR, GL screens. More advanced, we'd have to talk about maybe using an eConnect connection, but that would be in an individual user basis. It does not map into any screen that you would want in GP. So let's look at the one that I have here. In the destination mapping, you can see that it's got all the fields within the GL transaction screen, and I can map what's on my data in my data source to the screen. So for instance, I have a reference in here. If I use little dots, you can see both of my data sources in here, and I can map which ones go which. When you run this transaction, it goes into GP. It's pretty slow, and the error reporting is not all that advanced. If this would have failed, it would have told me in here maybe doc 1, doc 2, and what a very brief explanation of why it would have failed. The other things to consider whenever you're looking at these errors is, does it sort the document? It might not be necessarily line 1 on your document. It could be line 10, depending on how it puts it. So the user friendliness of Integration Manager is not all there, but like I said, it meets most of your basic needs for importing information. Let's go look at this transaction within GP. If I go to my batches, I can pull up this transaction, and I can see that there's 2 transactions in here, and if I can print it to screen, you'll see that I imported 2 basic GL transactions. And just for reference, this is the file that I imported in. I think that's about it on Integration Manager. And just keep in mind that check with us. We can definitely create more advanced integrations for 2 the basic one. So let's go on to SmartConnect. Just give me just a second. Okay. SmartConnect is a tool that is a third-party tool sold by eOne, the same makers of SmartView, SmartList Builder, all those great tools, Extender, that we recommend to a lot of our customers. It really is a much more advanced tool than Integration Manager. For instance, Integration Manager is slow. The error reporting is very generic and hard to follow. You cannot import from Excel. You have to save your Excel as a delimited file. And security is majorly lacking within Integration Manager. You can set up different integration files for users to use, but there's no security to say that one person can run one specific integration and not the other. In Integration Manager, there is very advanced security where you can say people can run whenever they open, and if they only have security to one integration, they will only see one integration on their screen. And you can say that they can't even edit it, so they can't open it, remap fields. You could be as tight security as possible or as little as you want. So SmartConnect is based on current Connect and web services, while based on data entry macros, which is both a clunky and very slow. Integration Manager is so much more. So when we're looking at SmartConnect, you can connect to pretty much any data source that you can imagine. So if I go, this is a basic integration that I started building this morning. It took me about 5 minutes to build it. As far as the data sources, I can scroll through here and show you that it can go to Excel, it can go to SQL, it can take a CSV, a text file. So it's very universal in where you can grab your data sources from. SmartConnect can be scheduled. If you want an integration to run every night or every 10 minutes, it's easily scheduled, and it's very user-friendly. Sorry, I don't mean to show any errors. But you can schedule it how you see fit. SmartConnect can also be triggered in real time. For instance, you have 5 companies in GP, and you want to be able to have the same general ledger accounts across all 5 companies. You can create a trigger within SmartConnect to say every time somebody adds a GL account in company XYZ, I want you to add it to every other company in GP. It's a seamless and triggered integration, and it's real time. So you don't have to worry about logging into each company and adding that GL account, and it could help unify your companies across the board. SmartConnect also covers a wider breadth of modules, including analytical accounting, field service, and HR. Integration Manager does not. SmartConnect provides scheduled export capability to push data out of other systems as well. So SmartConnect does not just does not have to just be used for GP. It can be used for other systems as well. We have plenty of examples of that where it's not just a tool just for Microsoft Great Plains. It can be used for a slew of other APIs. And if you want more detail about that, you can contact us. So SmartConnect also doubles as a development and automation tool, reducing the need for writing code in GP. Just like I was saying about the accounts being able to trigger real-time events, it's a pretty neat automation tool. And one great thing about SmartConnect is that it connects to Extender. Integration Manager, we cannot import into Extender fields through Integration Manager without writing code. I mean, it's possible, but it's not easy to do. Integration Manager seamlessly goes into Extender fields. So we really like that if that need arises. All right, so looking at SmartConnect, this is the one I had created earlier. It's connected to an Excel sheet. So this is the same import as the text file that I put into Integration Manager. It's just within Excel. Sorry, I lost my place. And I went ahead and mapped it to GP, to general ledger transactions. And within the mapping screens is where I go in and I have my source file on the left-hand side, and I have all the fields available to map to on the right-hand side. As you can see, I have this turned on where it's going to show me my required fields so I can make sure that those are mapped. And as you map them, it also puts a check mark on your data source. So it's a really good visual tool to make sure that you have everything that you need mapped within this field. One great feature about about SmartConnect is that you can map rolling columns to GP. So for instance, a journal entry. Now I don't have that set up in this specific example, but if you wanted to go and grab the next journal entry number or the next transaction number, you can create what's called a GP rolling column, and they have a lot of out-of-the-box GP rolling columns set up already that will go and grab the next transaction number for that company. One thing I did forget to mention is the companies button. You can actually create integrations to import into different companies at different times. So, at the same time. So for instance, you have timesheets that you need to import. You have all your companies, you've got 10 payroll companies, and you want to just do one import. You can put a field within your data source that says which company it's mapped to and import them all at the same time. Or you can use your companies button to say, no, I just want to go into this specific company for this integration. And it's very user-friendly to change these companies. Just click of a button and mark off the companies that you want to use for this integration. Another great feature of SmartConnect is our calculation columns. So here in my file, you can see that I have one column for debit and credit. Within the calculations, I can pull this and say, if the amount is greater than 0, then I want it to be the debit. If it's less than 0, I want it to be the credit. So we can write code in here with some pretty complicated if and then statements or any type of functions that you need. Another thing that I love about SmartConnect is the translations. And they have a way to create translations, and I wanted to pull this one up so you could see what a translation is. In Integration Manager, I'm used to writing if and then statements to say, if this code equals ABC, I want it to go into GP as XYZ. And I have to write a big nested if-then statement in order to accomplish every different translation that I need. In SmartConnect, it's great that you can say in the file, if it says standard, bring it into GP as 0. And that helps with your integer fields that you need to put into GP. It's pretty amazing in that you can list out, for instance, when you're importing payroll time, your payroll system might have it listed as hourly, but you need it to come in as HR into GP. You can list every single one of those out and have them easily be translated within the integration, and you don't have to keep editing that every time. So that's our translations. Let's see. Let's talk about the modules that we can use within SmartConnect. So SmartConnect uses the eConnect connectors, and there's a lot of out-of-the-box modules that you can import into with the eConnect, but eOne also has what's called Node Builder. So if SmartConnect does not have a connection to a module out of the box, you can use Node Builder to build the integration. So we've done that for a few customers where they need to go into a specific screen within GP with their imports, but there's not technically a eConnect connection into there just yet. Node Builder is very user-friendly and easy to go into that screen. Another good thing to note about SmartConnect is that you can use SQL lookup. So I have built a slew of integrations where it actually goes in and says, go and look at a table within GP to grab the data that I need. For instance, employee IDs or things like that. I don't have to write a translation for every employee. I can tell it to go and look at the employee table in GP. It's very user-friendly as well. As you can see, the mapping within SmartConnect is so much easier than within Integration Manager. For basic integrations, most users can create their own mappings in their own integrations, which says a lot. There's not many people that can do Integration Manager imports on their own. They usually have to get with us on that. So that's a great overview of what SmartConnect and Integration Manager can do. I can sit here and talk about SmartConnect all day long because I used to use Integration Manager exclusively, and seeing what SmartConnect can do is amazing, and I have a lot to say about that and a lot to say about what we have done as far as programming-wise to help customers go from one system to another. That is, if you have data that you're rekeying into GP constantly from another system, there's no need to do that. There are import tools, and it's possible to go and directly into another program and grab the data where you don't even have to export it from another software and then import it into GP. SmartConnect can be that in between that does it automatically. And one thing you got to think about with SmartConnect is if you have a vision of what needs to be done, we can definitely help bring that vision to life. We just need you to tell us what you're looking to do, and we could definitely tell you what tools would be best to be used for that. So I'd like to open lines up for questioning if anybody has questions.
Yep, if there are any questions out there, feel free to use either the Q&A panel, which is down at the bottom, or chat, either way, and we'll get those questions answered. Well, Carly, it looks like right now someone may be typing, but it looks like you did a great job because the questions are very few. Right.
And of course, if anybody has, okay.
What was that, Carly?
I was going to say, if anybody has any detailed questions, they are welcome to contact us directly.
Absolutely. Thank you. Alice, you want to wrap it up?
Sure, just have to remove myself from mute. Thanks for attending. We have recorded this session, and so we will put it out on our website for anybody who wasn't able to attend. Oh, and actually it looks like Ronnie has a question. Numbers in text format versus numeric format errors out sometimes. Is that in SmartConnect, Ronnie?
Yes, and I know what Ronnie's talking about. So sometimes whenever you have an Excel sheet and it maps into, it will automatically detect what type of field is in, what kind of, whether it's a text, an integer field, then that it automatically detects that. So sometimes we end up having to go, so let's say line 1, the document number is actually a numeric field in Excel, but line 2, it's an alphanumeric field. Sometimes SmartConnect will detect, based on that first line of data, that that's an integer field. So it'll error out whenever you try to do the import. So what we try to tell people is go into your Excel file and actually highlight that column and change it to a text column. And that way SmartConnect, whenever it runs, will detect it as a text field and not an integer field.
Awesome. Okay. And so I guess I don't see any more questions at this point. Again, thanks for attending, and we look forward to seeing you next week. If you are interested in the mini session next week about Green Shade's outsourced, or not outsourced payroll, but third-party payroll. So we will hopefully see you then.